When I first started in my area, it was really more along the lines of people were really recognized, hired, and promoted based upon what they knew. So the more certifications you had, the more education you had in like topical areas, the more valuable you were.
Hi, all. Good morning. Today, I have a very special guest with us, Kengon, who is the head of analyst relations at a company that is constantly growing and constantly hiring. Let's welcome Kengon and 10 minutes of hiring wisdom, where he will tell us what's it like driving innovation and leading change at a company that is constantly growing. Hi, Kengon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. So, Kengon, let's get into it. With over 40 plus years of experience in your professional journey, what are some key insights or takeaways that you learned along the way?
Several. So the first one I'll start off with is I think the notion of a career is really overblown. Because if I were to just look back at the things I've done over the course of my career, and you could ask the question, well, how did you get into this? I would honestly say, I don't know. Because it was I think, a bit circumstantial and a bit of providence to kind of lead me down the path that I went. It was not anything that I actually planned or would say, oh, yes, I want to be that when I grow up. No, it was a function of relationships and interests and being at a good place at the right time in order to be able to have the opportunity to do something. So even though there were probably things I said earlier in my career that, yes, I would like to do this, that, or the other thing, I always remained open to, okay, let's have a conversation about something. You don't know where it will lead. So if there's something that somebody's considering that may be different for a career path perspective than what they've ever done before, don't dismiss it outright. Really think about and have a conversation to see what might be possible, because you might find it's a good time to pivot, or it would open up an opportunity for you to be more well-rounded. I think that's the second thing I would notice about my career path, is because I really didn't um, I, I didn't intentionally craft the path that I'm on. I used it as a way to make sure that I was more well-rounded. So I've worked in a lot of different aspects of industry. So it has given me the opportunity to, when I'm considering a challenge that I'm facing, I actually think about it from more of a holistic perspective rather than from a narrow technical or topical perspective. I want to get the big picture and make sure that whatever course of action selected is really kind of fitting for both the organization as well as the timing in which something needs to happen.
Okay. A follow-up question regarding something that you said initially, which is that you were always open to having other conversations. So a lot of people these days might be open to having conversations, but you know how they say that time is money. So they might want to have the conversation, but they might not have time. So how do you ensure that you have meaningful conversations with the right people at the right time?
There's certainly a lot of conversations one could have, and I think that there's something that needs to be considered in terms of the uh, some things that you might be open to might actually require a significant shift in how you actually thought your career arc was going to go, or what you believe that you might be competent at. And I think that those are what I would describe as adjacencies. Look to adjacencies. And but so if you find something that's really out from left field, you have to, I think about that really hard, to be able to see, is this a worthwhile investment of time and effort to think about making a pivot. Like, so somebody like me, if somebody said, hey, let's try and work in financial services, that might not actually be the best thing for me, but for somebody else, that actually might be a really great opportunity to open up.
Okay. So my next question Okay. So my next question for you would revolve around your expertise in outside in thinking, lean and service management, which is very impressive. How do you see these principles evolving in the current tech landscape, specifically in startups like yours?
I think that they're more important than they've ever been, especially with the advent of AI technology, where, when I first started in my area. It was really more along the lines of people were really recognized, hired, and promoted based upon what they knew. So the more certifications you had, the more education you had in like topical areas, the more valuable you were. And I think to the detriment of the industry, it was really focused on those things as opposed to being able to have more of the soft skills, like being able to be a good communicator or some good management aptitude, how to work with people and display some empathy without having to get all wrapped up in whatever issue you're dealing with where you now become ineffective. I think that if I look at the softer skills, that's the place that's really been a place where I've gotten to demonstrate value that over the course of this time has now become more valuable. And especially as we look at being able to use AI and generative AI technologies to do some level of automation where previously task intensive work was required by somebody that knew what they were doing uh, in a specific area. If that goes away, what are you going to do? You don't want to be automated out of a job. But so the context I would suggest is rather than thinking about it as, oh, I need to be a technical specialist, have a little bit of both. Be a versatilist where you've got some good technical skill. And if that's, technical could be anything. It could be medical, it could be technology, it could be anything that's in a specific domain. But also have that good generalist background where you're able to bring that good people orientation to whatever you do. That's going to have you actually be more resilient in the face of change as opposed to, oh, let me go acquire some more degrees or more certificates. May not necessarily get you where you want to be.
I love that. I think a lot of people, when AI came into the picture, they were like, they're going to lose their jobs. Most people didn't realize that they could use AI to their advantage, that they could already work on their existing soft skills, but they could supplement their powers using AI and work on things to automate their current processes, make their work life much more efficient. So, thank you so much for sharing that. My last question would revolve around your current role, which is as head of analyst relations at Freshworks. What are some of the strategies that you found most effective in building strong relationships with industry analysts?
Well, so I think that the first one is that given I was an analyst previously, uh, I understood what it is that the analyst needs in order to do their job and be effective. So my intent in running analyst relations is to be sure that whenever they have a need, I'm giving them something that actually services their need. Because in a very real sense, they have customers that talk with them that may have never heard of my organization. Well, I want to be able to give them real, timely, factual information that will help them help people. So if I'm successful in doing that, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that any product reviews that somebody might do are going to get better, but at least we're helping to make sure that the right information is getting into the hands of people that need to make decisions. And then the second piece is how you actually contextualize the research that they do so that others can actually go through and use it more effectively.
Okay, I think thank you so much for sharing the two-layered approach. But other than that, our time is up. We like to keep things short. Thank you so much for coming on the show, for sharing your wonderful journey over 40 plus years and summing it up. I mean, the lessons that you had for people that could learn from it is something that's very inspiring. And your career itself as a leader right now is very inspiring to a lot of analysts at the moment. Thank you so
Thank you. I
much.
appreciate the invitation.